Hello and welcome to my tutorial. This project can probably be done in under 10 hours total, but that can change depending on what exactly you want to do. As far as difficulty goes, I would say this is an easy project. Although there are quite a few steps, none of them are very difficult. As well, the shirt itself is a pretty forgiving project. Just with it already having many exposed seams, it would give you room to make some mistakes and they wouldn't really stand out. If you do plan on making one, I suggest that you watch through the video first before buying any materials. The one I've made for this video was to be as close to the original design as possible, but if you make your own, you're able to change it however you like. The materials you need may be different. Here's a list of what I used. You'll also need a table or floor to work on, a sewing machine, and a printer with paper, tape, and scissors to cut the paper. You can take a photo or screenshot of this to use as a shopping list, but again, you may not need everything that's listed here, and you also might need other things aside from this. For the thread, just a standard weight or sew-all thread is good. You don't want to use anything too heavy. You'll need straight pins for sewing, but for cutting, if you're using a very light fabric, you may find it easier to use paper weights instead of pins. If you're using a really light fabric, you might not be able to mark your front and back by cutting, so you may have to use a pen or chalk instead. You'll need something to check the pattern is printed correctly. Any measuring tool could work. I used a ballpoint needle, but I don't really feel like it changed much, so any needle should work. And you'll need Velcro for the shoulder strap, about 2 inches total. Or you could use one safety pin instead, or pretty much any other fastener really. This is usually called a lobster clasp. You'll need 2 of these if you want to do the sleeves like the original, and 4 D-rings as well. These last 2 are way cheaper if you buy them in bulk. Also, if you don't want to do the hard work, you can just cut the sleeves to the right length instead. There's a pattern available for download in the description. I based it off the original, which was one size and made up of 2 layers of muslin. It has more or less all the same details, but I will say it's not exactly the same. It's just my recreation of it. I used some measurements I was able to find online and I did my best to recreate it. It has about a 22-inch chest width measurement, which is close-ish to what a size large t-shirt would measure. So this could fit up to that size in anyone smaller, and you could shorten the sleeves and body if you wish. I changed the seam between the front and the back of the torso, and I'm sure there's a ton of other little differences as well. I've seen many other people and brands remake this, and they're always a little bit different, so this is just my version of it. This pattern can be printed on your home printer. It's 25 pages total in black and white. Just make sure that when you print it, it's not set to fit printable area, but instead actual size or 100%. There's a 3-inch guide on 2 of the pages, which you can use to check your scale on. You can print just that page first to check. Once you have it all printed out, you'll have to cut the borders off of the pages, which is marked by the rectangle around the edge of the page. I don't need to print the pattern for myself, so what you're seeing on screen right now is just 2 pages as an example. You'll need to line up all the squares and circles on the edges of the page, and then tape them together. Here's a map of what it will look like once it's all assembled. Once you have it all assembled, you'll be able to cut out all of the pattern pieces. The fabric that I'm using is usually called cheesecloth or muslin. Any lightweight plain weave fabric should work fine for this. I made a couple of these shirts and I found that you need about 4 meters of fabric, and that's if you're using fabric that's 1 meter wide. If you pick something a bit more sturdy, you'll have a much easier time when sewing it. Between these 2 fabrics, the one on the left would be the better choice. Having something that has a lot of space in between the threads means that it has room to shift around, which makes cutting and sewing it more difficult. You should wash and dry your fabric before you use it. I'd also recommend sticking to woven fabrics only. And as well, this doesn't apply to muslin, but if you have bought a fabric that has a print on it, or has a front side and a back side, when you cut the sleeves, make sure you flip the pattern for every other piece, so that way your finished product will have all the correct sides facing outwards. And if your fabric can be turned 90 degrees and still look the same, which is pretty much any plain weave, then you're able to rotate the grain line 90 degrees when cutting and get the same results, which may get you a better yield if you can rotate the piece on the fabric. For the fronts and backs of the torso, you need to cut on the fold. That way you'll get a perfectly symmetrical piece that's twice the size of the pattern piece. For cutting, you can use pins, paperweights, chalk, or a pen. For the sleeves, you won't want to cut on the fold, but you can layer up the fabric so you can cut multiple at the same time. Take note of the notches on the pattern. 1 notch is for the front and 2 is for the back. Now, for the actual tutorial, I'll be going over how to sew this shirt twice. The first time around, I'll be showing me making the actual shirt, and the second time I'll be using a fabric that I've drawn in lines on the wrong side, so that way you'll be able to better see and understand the assembly. For the first step, we'll lay 2 front pieces on top of each other, line up all the areas at the neckline, and then pin everything in place. This pattern has a 1 centimeter or about 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. You can measure off of your needle and put a piece of tape at the 1 centimeter mark as a guide. The first seam we'll be doing is for the neck opening. You can sew from one side to the other. After that, we'll do the front flap. I'm sewing a 1 centimeter single fold hem at 3 of the sides. Just don't sew one of the long sides, as that will be where it connects to the body. With the front of the torso still inside out, we'll place the middle of the flap along the middle of one side of the bottom of the torso and fold the other side of the torso on top so that it's now covered within the torso. Then we can pin and sew this. After that, we'll reach inside from the side seam and pull it right side out so that the top and bottom will both have nice finished edges. If you're having a hard time with getting the straps right side out, you can use a pen to push them out. Also, depending on what fabric you use, you may need to trim down the seam allowance to be able to get it to turn right side out nicely. For the next step, we'll lay down one of the back pieces and place the front on top of it, and make sure that the straps are out of the way. You can fold them over or pin them down. Then we'll lay the other back piece on top and line up everything and pin it down. Just make sure that the shoulder straps are not included in the seam. Then we'll sew that. When you get to anywhere where the seam pivots, just put your needle down, press your foot up, rotate your work, and put the presser foot back down and keep sewing. This will ensure that the corners will be sharp when you turn them right side out. Then, with it still inside out, we'll put the second flap in between the two sides of the back of the torso. You can pin it, turn it right side out, and check if the flaps are facing the right way first. Then turn it inside out again and sew. After that, we'll turn the entire torso right side out. I'm using a ruler here to push the corners out. Now we have the torso complete. If you want to do a sleeveless version, you can just sew up these seams here on the side and you'd be done. For the sleeves, I've decided to make them only one layer instead of two. If you're making your sleeves one layer, you can do a single fold hem at the wrist and stitch it down. If you're doing the two-layer sleeves, you can stitch two of the same layers together so that way when you turn them out, they'll have a clean seam where they join. Also, when it comes to sewing lighter weight fabric, it's almost always easier to spin your work 180 degrees instead of trying to sew in reverse. Once we have the hems together, we can stitch the longest side of the sleeve together. Just watch which side your hem is facing and try to match it up so the front and back are the same. Next, we can start on the hardware. If you want to, you can completely skip all of the hardware and just cut the sleeves to the length you want. However, if you want to do it, measure how wide your rings and clips are and take triple of that measurement for the width. For the length, you can probably just pick 15 inches and cut it down in size from there. So if you had 1-inch D-rings, you could cut a piece of fabric that was 3 inches by 15 inches. Then, fold it over by 1 inch from one side and fold it over 1 inch from the other side, so that you're left with a 1-inch strip that's 3 layers thick. Then we'll run a straight stitch along the piece to hold it all together. I cut it down into 2-inch strips for all my hardware. If you want, you can wait till you have the sleeves sewn on to sew the lobster clasp, but I chose to do it first. For all the hardware, I'm sewing it the wrong way, then folding it over the stitch and sewing it facing the right way. The next step is to sew the sleeves on. The sleeves already have the first seam sewn so that it's exposed, and the next seams for the sleeve will always have the seam allowance exposed as well. You can pin down the middle and end of the shoulder seams first, and then pin in between them. You could start the seam in the middle and go to one end and repeat it for the other side if you find it easier to do the seam in 2 stitches instead of just 1. Next, we'll be finding out where we want to place the D-ring at the elbow. For this, you can try on the shirt, fold the sleeve back at where you want the sleeve to end, and pin the fold in place. Then we can attach one of the clasps to one of the rings and see where it should be. Then I'm flipping it to the other side, sewing it, and flipping it back and stitching it down. You could measure that distance and mark it on your pattern, so that way if you make a second one, you won't have to test where to put it again. For the D-ring at the shoulder, we'll just put it maybe an inch or less away from the shoulder seam. And again, I'm stitching this facing the wrong way, then folding it over and stitching it again. Now we have all of the hardware done. Next, we'll pin and sew the seam from the wrist to the hip. And the last thing to do is to add the Velcro to the straps. I'm using Velcro here, but there are other ways you could do it as well. I'm cutting 2 pieces that are about 1 inch each. Then we'll stitch it onto the inside of the strap. It should look like this from the top. You can try on the shirt and see where you'd like to place the other side of the Velcro. It should be near the corner, but you may prefer it moved over a bit. Just try it on to find out. If you don't want to use Velcro, you could completely stitch down one strap and hold the other one in place with a safety pin. But you can't stitch down both of them. The straps are not just for show, they're actually functional. A t-shirt can easily stretch over your head because it's made of knit fabric, but the muslin that this shirt's made of won't stretch at all. Those straps are how the shirt's able to be taken on and off, so you need to make sure that at least one of them is able to be undone. And now onto my second explanation. For this fabric I've drawn lines on the wrong side. This is so that you'll be able to easily follow along. The first thing to sew is the front torso, right sides together, or you could say wrong sides out, and line them up along the neckline. We are only sewing the neckline and around the straps. Do not stitch the shoulders together. We're going to skip these 2 segments, which means only sew where I've drawn the line. You can trim down the allowance around the straps and neckline if you have to. It will help with the edges when you turn it right side out. And these are the areas that we've left open. Next we're moving on to the flaps. Just fold over 3 of the sides, leaving one of the long sides untouched, and then stitch that fold in place to create a hem. Now we'll turn the front torso inside out so we're able to place the flap between the 2 right sides of the torso fabric. Then sew the bottom. Then turn it right side out and we have the front torso complete. Now take one of the back torso pieces, lay it on the table with the right side facing up, and place the front torso on top. Make sure that the shoulders of the front and the back line up. You can pin the straps out of the way if you want, but just make sure that they don't get included in the next seam. Now we're taking our other back piece and placing it right side down on top of our front. Then we'll pin and sew the entire seam along the top. Then, to sew in the back flap, we'll get the front out of the way by rolling it up, and we'll put the flap in between the 2 right sides of the back torso. To check that you have it the right way, you can pin it in place and pull everything right side out. If both of the flaps are facing the way they're supposed to, you can turn it inside out again and then sew along the bottom. Now we'll turn the entire torso right side out and push out the corners at the back of the neck. If you wanted something sleeveless, you could just close up these sides right here. At the end of the sleeves, we'll fold over the edge to create a hem. If you're looking at this from the right side, you should be able to see a little strip of the wrong side created by the hem. And if you're doing a double layer sleeve, you would just sew 2 sleeve fronts together at the wrist and sew 2 sleeve backs together at the wrist, and then repeat both of those steps for the other sleeve. And next we'll sew this long seam here. I'm not going to go over the hardware again, but this is where you'd start working on it. The pattern for the sleeves and torso pieces have notches to mark what needs to go together. Just make sure the fronts are going together and the backs are going together. I'm just marking this for the sake of the explanation. This place here where the 2 halves of the sleeves meet, and this seam here where the torso front and back meet, these 2 marks should be aligned for when you attach the sleeve. The wrong side of the sleeve should be facing the interior of the torso when you pin it in. This is so that you can have the exposed allowance at the shoulder. This picture shows where you should line up the sleeve to shoulder seam. Oftentimes the sleeves, they might look like they're not the same size or they're not going to fit, but these ones are the same size. If you're having trouble spacing it out, just put a pin in the middle and the edges and keep on breaking up the distance in between them with more pins and you'll be able to do it. Once we have the sleeve to shoulder seam done, we'll move on to the wrist to hip seam. For this, just pin everything in place, wrong sides together, and then we'll sew it shut. I'm not going to go over the Velcro again, but you would do that as the last step. And now we have the entire garment done. Here's the list of the prices. It should cost you around this much to make one, and this is assuming that you don't already have any of the materials. I already had the creepers, so I decided I'd make some pants to complete the look. I made these bondage pants with this sort of mummy style effect going up the legs. It's just fabric that's been torn into strips and then stitched down on either side. I gave those pants away on my Instagram. I was going to make that giveaway part of this video, but I waited too long to finish the video, so those are gone now. But if you're watching this recently after I've posted it and you want this shirt, you can follow me on Instagram and comment, and I'll give it away to one of you. You can see my other projects on Instagram and any giveaways I do in the future as well. It may take you more than one try to get a shirt that you're happy with, which is normal, so don't get discouraged. And like I said earlier, the shirt is kind of forgiving if you make any mistakes. Really, as long as you like what it looks like and it's not uncomfortable while wearing it, then you did it right. And if you do make one, please send me a picture. I'm really surprised by those of you who have sent me pics of your work in the past. I love to see it. I really like what these look like blank, but you could draw, paint, print, whatever you want on them. I'm not going to get that far into it, but there's 2 things I do want to say. If you want to do a print or whatever on one of these shirts, it's best if you cut the fabric, print onto the piece, and then if you're happy with it, you can sew a shirt using that piece you just printed. That way, if you make a mistake while printing, you haven't messed up an entire shirt, but just one piece of the torso. And the second thing, because this is 2 layered, depending on your fabric, you can print on the wrong side of the interior torso piece and have the graphic be somewhat covered up by the exterior piece. It would look as if the graphic was in between the layers. And there's a lot of other ways you could make use of that idea. For this one I've made, I used the lightest possible fabric and only did the sleeves as 1 layer. So because of the weight of the hardware, it kind of pulls the gap of the shoulder open even wider. This is what one of the other ones I made looks like. It looks a lot more like the original. If you're going for that, definitely pick a slightly heavier fabric that can take the weight of the clips and rings. But as well, all of the modern versions that they've released have more open shoulders, so I don't really think there's a right way of doing it. You can just do whatever you want. You can also cut the sleeves to the right length instead of using clips to keep them in place. It would make the shirt more practical, but at the same time those clips are pretty important to the original design. Here's a bit of the description from the World's End website. The 100% cotton shirt was based on the design of a straitjacket having extra long sleeves with clips and D-rings on them which could be pulled around the back of the wearer and fastened, so restraining them. Alternately, the sleeves could be joined at the front of the wearer like handcuffs, or else, more practically, the clips can be used to make the sleeves shorter. And lastly, if you want another kind of related project, you can go on the World's End website. It's been down for a while, but using the web archive, you can still access the drape shirt under the DIY section. I'm pretty sure it's a women's piece, but I think it would translate quite well. The download is still active, and the instructions are just below it. I haven't tried it, but I don't think it would be much more difficult than this project. Thanks for watching. Bye.